Hi, everyone. It's Tammy Warner here for our weekly live event to catch you up on everything that's happened in the last week. Please make sure you like and subscribe, but then share this information so that we can help spread hope and provide information to people when they're out there looking for it on social media or Googling or whatever, all the places people go to look for information when this happens in their life. So we're going to start out with Aortic Hope Live, which is happening tonight. So we would like for you to join us. All you have to do is go to the live event on YouTube, but there's also a link on our platforms that you can join, and there's one right there. But this is a gentleman who has created Heart Health Community, and he's taken advantage of the artificial intelligence and machine learning to connect heart and vascular health caregivers and their patients within a sophisticated community platform. HHC drives patient engagement with physicians, hospitals, and clinics by delivering branded and individually curated newsletters to patients containing professionally curated articles pertaining to their individual health and vascular condition interest, selected over a huge library, way more than what you would find on Google. This is free for patients, friends, and families to join. HHC creates heart and vascular health equity by leveling geographic and socioeconomic access to professionally curated heart and vascular health information at no cost to us as survivors, caregivers, RNs, NPs, PAs, in a patient-friendly format. The HHC platform is ADA compliant and its contents is translated into 121 languages. So Stephen Page is the founder and CEO of both Vascular Health Community and Heart Health Community. VHS has partnered with Society of Vascular Surgeons to create professional groups for all 3,000 SVS board certified vascular surgeons. VHC and HCC help patients maintain critical heart and vascular health journeys more effectively by engaging and educating patients with professionally curated information. Better educated patients lead to better health outcomes. Prior to this, he ran a senior level executive search firm with offices in London, New York, Washington, D.C., and Dallas. He was born in London, but he now lives in Dallas, Texas since 1980. So what I will say to you is this is a much needed connection that people like us need. If you Google some information right now, like how long does an aortic dissection survivor survive, you will find it will say 5 years, and that is completely wrong information. So I'm really happy that that this kind of platform will be available. It will be a free app. Topic Tuesday. It was Trivia Tuesday. And so I wanted to take today to pose a few challenging trivia questions, and then you can look back. They had the answers the next day. The abdominal aorta begins at the level of the, and do we have anybody with us today, Josh, to answer any questions?
We have Tom with us so far. Tom the Wetner.
Tom, do you know the answer?
There's going to be a lag. Don't forget there's a bit of a lag. Yep.
I don't know if I know the answer to this or not.
My rudimentary understanding says it's at the end of the arch.
Okay, I thought it was lower than that.
I thought the beginning of the descending was after the arch, but I don't know. I don't know.
I think you're right. Like, even though it's actually in your chest, I think you're right. But I'm sorry. What two branches does the abdominal aorta split into? And that's the iliac.
The iliacs.
Right?
That's what I think too, right?
Yep. What branch of the aorta supplies the diaphragm? aorta supplies the diaphragm muscle? No idea.
Yeah, I remember him explaining this thing to us last week.
Yeah. I thought the answers were here, but they're not. What are the three major branches of celiac trunk? I didn't even know I had one of those. I should.
I bet you that's the celiac thing that runs the diaphragm muscle.
Yeah. The name of the arteries that supply the kidneys, I have no idea, but I know they check it every time I have a CT scan. How many pairs of lumbar arteries are there usually? Lumbar would be your back, and I think there's two.
Right on.
What artery supplies the rectum? I don't know. Dilations of the artery, the aorta, are called aneurysms. That has to be the answer. Is an aneurysm the same thing as a dissection? No, a dissection is when two of the layers pull away from the inside. And what organ does the left gastric artery supply? No idea. So I thought the answers were on here when I looked at this earlier.
Tab.
The next tab?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go. No, this is for Tim.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was for Tim. Well, we did have a great time with Tim. So Tim O'Reilly, I think a lot of people in the community know Tim, and we would like to thank Tim O'Reilly for the past 3 years of his dedication and service to the aortic disease community as one of our directors of support services. We're hoping he'll come back sometime. In this role, he not only monitors the Aortic Hope private forum, but has been the moderator of our evening and general support group meetings. Tim's last time moderating was this evening, which was last Wednesday. And it was a wonderful event, many familiar faces and some surprise visits from the board members, and Dr. Udelman were there. So we had most of the board members were able to stop in and thank him. He passed the baton to our very own aortic chef, Rob Seltzer. So he'll be doing that in September. We wish Tim so much luck, and the door is always open for him to return. I've met Tim several times when we have worked together, when we've gone to different conventions or collaborations over the years, and he always comes to the walk in September that Dr. Udelman and Think Aorta sponsors. And he's just a wonderful guy, and he's really good at remembering everybody's story and then bringing their story up at just the right time. That was one of the things I noticed with Tim. So we will miss Tim. I'm sure that Rob's going to do a wonderful job. If you have not attended a support group, it's very informal. You don't need to be worried at all that you have to present anything or know anything. It's one of the best places that you can go to listen to other people's stories and help understand what happened to you. It also is a great place to go and learn terminology. You know, my doctor said this to me, I'm trying to understand, or understand your medicine. I'm taking this medicine and I'm having this this reaction or this feeling. It's a great way to talk to other people about your journey. It's very, very informal. Sometimes people on there don't have anything to say at all. They're just there to listen, but you're always welcome to participate. Okay, First Friday fundraiser. So I'm wearing one of my shirts, one of the original shirts. This is actually my favorite shirt. First Friday fundraiser, but we're having a Pampered Chef fundraiser right now. But you can always go to the Hope Shops and order any of the swag that we have. The shirts are just a wonderful way to start a conversation when you go into the grocery store, and people will stop me. And the other day somebody stopped me and said, my husband has aortic stenosis. Is that part of what you're talking about? Or my friend had a dissection, or my friend has an aneurysm and is going to schedule surgery. What can you tell me? I've had all those conversations in the grocery store with people. So, but right now for the entire month, we have the Pampered Chef fundraiser. It goes until August 31st, the entire month. Please jump on to our to our Facebook page is the best way to see some of the products, because almost every day they're showing the products, how to use them, the different ways to use them, what the price is, which things are going to be discontinued, what the popular things are, things that she was showing the other day. It was about the size of a phone, and it had like a cup, and you just lay grapes on the table and like hit it with this cup that has the squares inside, and you turn it over and you've got cut up grapes for kids or for a salad. She did the same thing with strawberries. She had a different slicer, and she just cut these really thin, real nice strawberries for desserts or things. So that's the best way to find out about the products, is to watch some of our Facebook pages. But here are the links to the catalog. And like I said, this lasts for the entire month. I believe she's donating 20% of all sales. So please go support us. Nobody that works volunteers their time for anything that we do with Aortic Hope. We're not compensated in any way except how it makes us feel when we know that we've helped somebody. But whenever we have a fundraiser, 100% of that money goes towards materials that we are printing, the books, helping with the money to send the mail the books out, the posters that we have printed, travel to go to some of the different conventions that we go to, and it really does make a huge difference. So thank you for participating in that. So Survivor Series, Terry Benson has a really interesting story. She was under, and she has a video, so this is one that you don't have to read, but you can go watch her video. And I did watch it. I've known who Terry is. I've never met Terry in person, but I heard of Terry because she wrote a book, and I should be able to know the name of it. It has something about being extraordinary. The title of the book is From Ordinary to Extraordinary, meaning she had this ordinary life, and then all of a sudden everything changed, and she had to become extraordinary to survive. But she has a typical, story like most of us, where she had a lot of stressors in her life. She had been through a divorce. She had 3 teenage children. She had lost her home in the divorce, had to, find another home, and find a new job, support herself. And during that time, when she had this divorce and everything, she had experienced a heart attack. So on this particular day, when she was getting ready for bed and felt a twinge in her chest, she didn't think that much of it, but she said she actually heard her father, who had been passed for like 10 years, she actually heard her father say to you, Terry, you need to get to the hospital right now. So she asked her daughter to drive her to the hospital, and they weren't going to do a CAT scan. And at the last minute, before they released her, because they couldn't find anything wrong, they checked her heart, told her she was fine, told her that she was under a lot of stress, did the CT scan, and once that CT scan happened and they saw the dissection, then she was immediately transported. I believe, I don't know how she went, but I know she was transported to another hospital. And she went on, she talks about the struggle of healing physically, but also she talks about the struggle of healing mentally, and understanding what happened to her, and what was she going to do with this in her life? How was she going to continue? So her book, I'm pretty sure the name of the book is From Ordinary to Extraordinary. It's been out for a while. It's a paperback. I'm pretty sure you can get it on Amazon. So Terry Benson. Okay, so here is what we have coming up. So we're going to start with Monday the 5th. That there is a Spanish support group that happens tonight at 7 p.m. The link is always there. You can look for it on our web page. But tonight is the night that we have the live Q&A with Stephen Page about the Healthy Heart app that he has developed, and it's free. So if you want to learn more about that's going to be great, because we just need that. We need a place, and that's one of the purposes of Aortic Hope, and one of our missions is to provide accurate, up-to-date information, because so much information out there is old or not accurate. So I'm really happy to see this. There's also tonight at 10 o'clock for all you people on the West Coast. This is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I think that's like 7 o'clock on the East Coast. There is a caregivers virtual support group. And if you want to join any of these support groups, all you do is go to our webpage, put in there, there's a place to go to register, and you will receive an email with the login to be able to join that group. And there's also Monday the 5th. We have so much going on tonight. Aortic Hope's Caregivers Only virtual support group. We're very proud of ourselves that we do have one of the only caregivers support groups out there. We really acknowledge that nobody goes through this alone, but the support that our caregivers are giving us, they need support. They need a place to vent. They need to be understood and heard also, but they're not going to tell us as survivors, or the people that are going through it, the wait and watch people, the survivors. So these caregiver groups really do serve a purpose. I know one of the hard conversations I had with my husband, and I actually just met a week ago, I just met with a family that their family member recently, within the last 6 months or last 3 months, has had a dissection and is home and is not eating, not following the typical routine. And they wanted to talk to me. And before I left the house, and these were caregivers that I was meeting with, and before I left the house, I said to my husband, what is the one thing that you would say to them if you were sitting at the table? And he said that it's really hard to be the one who's never allowed to be afraid. And this was a good discussion that we had years ago. So this was not enlightening to me. I already knew this, but my husband says one of the hardest things as a caregiver, and in his position, so he's my caregiver. He has my sister, that he's trying to take care of too. My mom, he tries to be strong for my mom, and my 2 girls. So he feels like he's never allowed to be afraid, but I know that he has some friends that he talks with, but that's the kind of thing that they talk about in the caregivers group. It's the only thing he's ever talked to me about. I'm sure there's a lot more topics, but that's a great place to go as a caregiver to feel supported and heard. And then Tuesday the 6th, tomorrow, is the Aortic Hope, Aortic Bridge virtual support group. That's at noon tomorrow. And then later this week, the Canadian support group meets on Wednesday night at 7. Then on Thursday, a therapeutic Thursday with John Quick. So there's no, that's not in red, Josh. How do they log on with that?
Oh, that's going to be on YouTube. We'll have that updated this week.
Okay, sure. So we'll update that. So you can join that either if you go onto our social media platform, or you can come right here and click on it. Then every Thursday we have the Aorta Hangout with Rob and Mindy, and I hear how hilarious they are. I've dropped in there a couple of times. So that's what's going on this week, and there's so much. So much this week. We really have a lot happening. Did I leave anything out, Josh, that we need to talk about?
No, but if we want to close the loop on the trivia answers, you want to bring that back up?
Oh, I X'd them out. I'm sorry.
Control-Shift-T.
Control.
Let's see if that works.
Control-Shift-Key.
T as in tab.
T. Oh yeah.
Do it again. One more time. That's going to be the service for Tim, and then this next one should be Tuesday.
Next one will be, I hit the wrong one. I hit Y. Okay, but here we are.
All right,
Look,
so on the
this is
right
why.
there, just close this collections thing for me.
Look how smart you are.
Oh, I get lucky. I get lucky.
Okay, you have the answers. The abdominal
All right.
aorta begins at the level of the
Diaphragm.
diaphragm. Well, that okay. So
Why did
so
we think that
that's
it was just talking about descending, even though the word says abdominal?
I don't know. Like I know that it's higher up than what you think, but so I guess like right there at the very bottom of your sternum.
I mean, the diaphragms, it floats up and in there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. What two branches is the abdominal arch aorta split into? Were we right with iliac?
Common iliac arteries, correct.
Okay. Okay. And then in our community, you will hear people say, I am dissected through my iliac, dissected through the right iliac or both iliacs, which means down both legs. And that is why one of the symptoms is loss of feeling in the back of your legs. And that is one of the ones that I did have. And that's when my family said, what I had thought was food stuck in my throat. When I lost the feeling in the back of my legs, that's when the two paramedics that I had with me said, we're calling the ambulance. We've already called the ambulance. What branch of the aorta supplies the diaphragm muscle? I have no idea.
The inferior phrenic.
Say it again.
The inferior phrenic.
Huh. Interesting.
That's what I said.
Oh, see, and this is what I mean about, like, it's one of the things that one of our missions is to help people understand, even to be able to read your like CT scans. Like that term might be in there, and I've probably just skipped over it and didn't know what it meant. But what are the three major branches of the celiac trunk?
The left gastric, the common hepatic, and the splenic.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that in any of my reports. What is the name of the arteries that supply the kidneys?
The renal arteries.
We probably could have come up with that.
Right?
That makes sense. Why didn't I come up with that? And I do see that in my reports. I can't tell you what it says, but what they write means that when I read it, I understand that it means that I have good blood flow. But I have seen that, because that is one of the things that they check whenever you have a CT scan is, do you have blood flow to your kidneys? How many pairs of lumbar arteries are there usually?
4 pairs.
Really?
Yep.
You know, and that must be, when it says usually, it must be one of those things that it can differ from person to person. And I have read, because I had just had this, basically what I had was the carotid bypass. And they were explaining to me that sometimes where your carotid artery comes off can be in different places. So that was interesting. So that must be where it says it usually. What artery supplies the rectum? I'm not sure why I would need to know this, but
the inferior mesenteric artery.
Okay, I guess if that is compromised, that could be an issue.
Exactly.
Exactly. Dilations of the aorta are called aneurysms. Please tell me I got
correct.
This one right. I'm going to have to turn in my board card if I didn't get that one correct. Is an aneurysm the same thing as a dissection? And I said no.
No. So aneurysms are enlargement of the aorta, and dissections are tears within the intimal layer of the aorta.
Intimal, yes, those layers. And what organ?
Layer.
What organ does the left gastric artery supply? So you just told us this up top, right?
Well, it supplies the stomach.
Okay, we should have guessed that with gastric.
Yep.
But you know, that could have really been to the spleen. It could have, because all that is gastric. What's that thing that most people have taken out?
The gallbladder.
Gallbladder.
Yeah.
Gallbladder.
I had mine taken out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but this is just so important because this is how you learn the terminology. Um, so that you can talk to the doctors. I know the first time I said to my doctor, quite often, almost every time I go for a CT scan, my doctor doesn't see me in an exam room. He calls me back to his office and we sit in front of computers, and he brings up all of the CT that I just had. And we talk about it. And I remember saying things like, well, is this the false lumen and this? And when I understood enough to ask questions, he talked to me differently. And I got a little bit, like each time I go, I learn a little bit more. And that just is empowering because you feel like you're when this first happens to you, you feel like you're just getting hit by wave after wave after wave, and you just stand up again and you get hit with another wave. And people are talking about things that don't make sense to you. You don't know what happened to you. But once you get your feet on the ground and you can understand what happened to you, and moving forward, as you need to make decisions about your health care, it really helps if you have some of these terminology down. It's made a huge difference for me. So, and I did, so I just had my last, I gotta look at the name of it, but there's a study going on right now. Let's see if I can pull it up. You might know what it is, Josh. It's the glue that's being used for smaller aneurysms, and the company starts with an M. Let me see.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah. Karen sent it to me. Okay, so Karen on the board, our fearless leader, she knew that I had an aneurysm that needs to be repaired. And she said, oh, you really need to ask about this. Let me see, I'm going to find it because this information might help somebody. I can't find it, darn it. Anyway, if anybody out there wants this information after I tell you about it, you are more than welcome. Nectaro, I thought it was starting with an M. Nectaro is a medical company that has developed, the only way I can explain it is it's a type of glue. And this glue is being used for people on a trial basis. And there's like 25 hospitals around the country that are doing it right now on a trial basis, only being used on small to mid-size abdominal aneurysms, which is what I have. I have a small abdominal aneurysm that I'm going to need to have repaired. And I went last Monday for my CT scan, and I said, am I a candidate? My doctor, my vascular doctor, Dr. Tor, said that he did not feel comfortable doing that with me, only because I had so much other things going on. He said if I was a run-of-the-mill person that came in with their first aneurysm, small abdominal aneurysm, didn't have any of the other stuff that I've had done, he would feel very comfortable doing it. But this glue is the term I'm going to use, is put inside of the aneurysm to stop the aneurysm from ever growing again. And the advantage of that is when they place a stent, which is what I am going to have, and I do have in my, well, now we know that it is thoracic. I do have a stent in my thoracic from the arch all the way down. The problem with the stents is you can get what's called an endo leak, because it's basically like chicken wire with this material around the chicken wire, and the blood flow, instead of the aneurysm getting bigger, the blood flow goes through that stent. But those stents can have leaks. And in all honesty, I have not asked what happens if you get a leak. I don't know if they have to take the whole thing out and start over again. I don't know if they just repair the leak, but I know endo leaks are not good. And I thought, well, if I could avoid that, I would. but in my case, it was not a good call. But anybody that's watching this, if you do have the opportunity, if you are told that you have a small or mid-sized abdominal aneurysm, it's well worth talking to your doctor about the Nectaro trial that's happening right now. So hopefully that information helps somebody. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then share it for anybody that's looking for information. And I am back next week also, so I will be here next Monday, and I will see you then. So thanks, everybody. Bye.